Welcome to today's video. I have a question. Why does hard work not matter, especially for female entrepreneurs? Well, that's a great question. In today's video, I'm going to get into the nitty-gritties of why you are working too hard, how you're being sucked down into shadow success because of it, and how you can change 3 simple things that will amplify your business today. Let's get right into today's topic, shadow success. It's really important for you to understand what it is and how it can hurt you. Shadow success is one of those things where you think that you're having success. You're all excited. Life is great. However, really quickly, that success now doesn't look like success. There's a lot of things that are starting to come up where you're like, wait a minute. Is this really success? Do I really like what I do? Am I happy? And what happens is a lot of female entrepreneurs will ignore this and they'll say it's part of the game. And when they do this, they start getting consumed even more with shadow success. It is something that consumes you. And at the end, the weight of all of this starts to lean on us. Ultimately, what happens is this weight just crushes us and we are no longer happy. Our health fails. Life just seems hard and you want to stop. So why does hard work not matter? That's because hard work is pulling you into shadow success deeper. Isn't that the craziest thing to think about? We had to do this hard work to get there. Now, if you are listening to my podcast, the Christina Kokologiannakis show, it's right here on YouTube. You can watch the video, which is great, or you can jump on to wherever you consume your podcast. In Monday's episode, we actually talked about how it's easier to make $1 million versus your first $100,000. This is $100,000 that you make. It takes a lot of work to get up this ramp, a lot. However, when you're ready and you move to your million, but you come up here and it's easy. Why? Because it's less time, less effort, because we have compounding results and work that is down here at this level that makes it all worth it. So a lot of people will tell me, if I worked this hard to get there, then I must have to work 10 times harder to get here. That is not true. That is why you're being pulled down by shadow success. So I want you to be able to recognize how you're being pulled down. Because if you can't recognize what it is that's pulling you down, how do we get pulled out? We're moms, right? So we're a mom and we have our family. I have decision fatigue all day long because from the morning, I have to make a ton of decisions before I even sit down to work. Then I sit down and I'm working. Now I have to decide with the work that I'm doing, what's important. All of these are micro decisions that I have to make. We have a lot of decision fatigue. The role overload adds to it because we're not just an entrepreneur. We're not just running a business. We're running a house. We're running our kids. We have to manage all of that. And so what happens is when you are in role overload and decision fatigue, then it is really hard to step back. Where is it that we want to go? What is it that we're trying to achieve? But if I'm in role overload and decision fatigue, I'm not looking at that. I'm making too many micro decisions. So that never happens. I keep thinking my numbers keep falling. That means I need to add another product, another offer, another freebie, something here in hopes that I can get my numbers back up again. But that's not necessarily the case. So we have the role overload, we have decision fatigue, and that's really hurting us and pulling us down deeper. We're not giving ourselves an opportunity to really step back and say, how can I run my business simplified? That's why people hire me as their advisor inside their business, because I can pull apart their business. I look at it as a business B, which is an amplification of business A, where we take all the good juicy stuff, put it into new business. That's how we make our income jumps. All right. Number 2, isolation and limited support. If you're not getting the support you need, it's hustle mode all day, doesn't get a break. We need to step back because if we're isolated and we feel like we're in this box, and there's no help for us, we can almost feel like it's like a jail. This hurts us in so many ways because we start spiraling just emotionally. As women, we need friends, but we need work friends. So what I've been doing is building a really cool community around myself. I have a really good friend, Tracy. I tell her when we first started becoming friends, I'm not here to sell you. I just want to be friends. I just want to be able to tell you what's going on and maybe get some advice, or maybe you just listen. And I'm okay with that. I need someone who understands what I'm doing is hard, what she's doing is hard, what you are doing is hard. In isolation, it's 1,000 times harder. So we don't want this. If you're like me, I'm starting up more local meetups here in Nashville for other entrepreneurs who are women. Get out and find your people. Same with the limited support. We have to find more support because if we try to do it all, it's sucking us down even further. This is how we get so deep into shadow success that we can't pull ourselves up. Our business is going to crumble. Our life is going to crumble. We're going to be miserable. And then I don't know where it's going to go from there. So get help, get a nanny, get a babysitter, go to a place where you can drop the kids off for just a few hours. Be creative. It's all about the decisions we make that make the difference. 3 is financial pressure. A lot of times with financial pressure, we are pulled further into shadow success. And here's this big thing that I like to talk about. A lot of women who are creating their businesses, they don't think this way. I want a new car. I can take cash that I have just sitting in a bank that's earning me 3.5% interest and buy a car all cash. I can totally do that. But then if I do that, what happens is my bank account is now decreased, let's say by $100,000. So that $100,000 that I was earning my 3.5% interest is now gone, meaning my money is not making money anymore. So I just took out money that was an asset to buy a liability that's not going to give me anything. This car, it doesn't give me a return on my investment. So what I'd like to look at instead is if I want my car, then instead of using money I have in my savings account, I'm going to earn the money through the business. I'm going to buy more rentals that pay me, let's say $6,000 a month, or I'm going to do a big launch. And then with that big launch, I'm going to make $300,000. Out of that $300,000, I'm going to take $100,000 and buy my car. Instead of touching money that actually makes you money, you want to earn the money to do it that way. So I'm really big on that. Financial pressures and fear of failure is one of the biggest things that pulls us deeper. We don't have any money that's making us money. If you set up your financials the right way, you can become a multi-millionaire like I have. Maybe you invest in properties. People who come in the house of Cortessa with me, we can set up ways on getting rentals. I can set up ways on monthly recurring revenue, build your empire, whatever it is that you need to do. And so we need to find ways to set it up so we don't have the financial pressure and we don't have this fear of failure. Because if there's no other money coming in, I'm going to have fear all day long when I'm not making money. But if I'm not making any money, here's the coolest thing. My other businesses, it's making me a boatload of money. And then I'm happy because I have this boatload of money coming in there. So I'm not stressed or have a fear of failure, and I don't have financial pressure. Now, work-life balance and guilt. So what we start to think is I have this financial pressure and fear of failure. So I have to work. I can't find this work-life balance and I have guilt all the time. If you are struggling in this, then you're going to really be in your shadow success. So what I want you to do instead is this. Systems, architect. Think about you're climbing up this mountain. And this is the hardest part of the mountain. There's a lot of snow all the time. But when I get to the rest, it's going to be hard unless I'm an architect of my own design and I create the strategy that I need to actually do this. That is fundamental. Then I have strategies. I know where I got to stop. I know what I can do if the weather gets bad. And then this climb becomes so much easier to do. So work-life balance and the guilt, we need to plan in things so we don't have the guilt and we're struggling with work-life balance so that we don't get stuck in and consumed by shadow success. All right, 4 is unfair social expectations and gender bias. I'm not a big one on gender bias. So if you ever meet my husband, he will say I'm more ballsy than most men. I don't believe in the gender bias because I just don't allow it to affect me. But I know it affects a lot of women. I know they feel like it's a man's club out there. I'm going to just on this one, simple and clean. I encourage you to reframe how you look at this and realize that if that's what you believe, then that's the way it's going to be. I believe I'm one of the guys. I can play in the men's club. I don't see them as holding me down in any way. I see myself holding myself down. So I encourage you on this one, if this is your struggle, let's reframe it and have the courage and have the confidence that you don't even need to consider this as lacking. Okay, number 5. When you look at the beliefs and hustle culture, what happens is we are on this beautiful thing that we all love called a phone. We have Instagram and we have all the other things. When we sit here watching our phone, we believe what it's telling us. But there's a problem. A lot of people are saying what they need to sell you. Work more. It's what you got to do because you've been programmed to believe this is what's been happening. The hustle culture is real because we've done it. In my real estate business, that's my other business that I run, I was training some real estate agents. And it was funny because they made the comment of, well, the buyers don't understand how to pay commissions. And so we have a problem with buyers. And I stopped and I said, do we have a buyer problem or do we have a real estate agent problem? And they were like, what do you mean? Well, as real estate agents, it's our job to educate the buyers so they have a knowledge around what we do and why we do it, and our commissions is part of it. So if someone doesn't believe you're worth the commission you're trying to command, then it's a you problem, not a them problem. That is the same thing here. If you're going to listen to this hustle culture and you're going to start believing all this stuff that you see that they're trying to sell and it doesn't feel right to you, then we're stuck. This is shadow, right back at you again. Don't get stuck in it. We have to step back. We have to look at our business. We have to understand what's going on with it. We have to look at the information, the numbers. We have to analyze it. That's more important. The last one is you're disconnected from joy and purpose. This is a big one. So a lot of times with joy, it's really hard because what happens is we get fear, and this could be money. This could be over our families. Fear robs us of the joy. We should be sitting here with so much happiness, so much joy for the life we have. We have purpose. If we are doing something that we love every day, then we have purpose. The problem is that so many people today are stuck in this routine, which I talk a lot about as the shadow of success. We've got consistent sales. They're struggling with all these things, but they don't think about it yet. And they come home, they get testy with their family, testy with their partner. They just plop on the couch. They watch Netflix or Hulu or whatever until it's time for bed. They go to bed and they do it all over again. There's no purpose there. They've lost sight of the purpose. They've lost sight of the joy. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for the family I have. I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful for all these things because I want joy in my life. I have a tremendous amount of purpose. I have purpose to show women entrepreneurs like you how to income jump, how to make it effortless, how to make it more simplified, not more complicated. That's my purpose. That's what I'm here for. So as we went through all this, I encourage you to go back through, think about shadow success, think about what it really means to you. Why does hard work not matter? This is why. Because the harder you work, you actually get dragged deeper into shadow success. You get deeper into all these elements I was telling you about. Decision fatigue, isolation. We do it to ourselves. Then we have financial pressures. If we're not planning and building something like an empire to support us, one wrong move and it's over. That's a lot of freaking pressure. Work-life balance, guilt, internalizing these beliefs and hustle cultures. This is the result. And we get at the end disconnected from joy and purpose. And then everything we built just comes falling down. Now you understand how more hard work actually makes it worse, not better. I encourage you to simplify. Go back to my podcast that I have on Monday. Listen to it if you have time, because I talk about business A, business B, business C. I talk about the income jumps after you kind of get to 100,000, after it is so easy to get to $1 million. I show my clients how to do it every day. Inside the house of Cortessa, my private society that I am building, I am teaching women how to do these income jumps, how to build an ecosystem, how to have purpose, joy, how to get rid of the hustle culture, how to get work-life balance, build a community, get away from the financial pressures, all of this that we just talked about. I'm teaching them how to get around it, because if you are not building an ecosystem that breathes, that feels light and effortless, what is the freaking point? You can have all the money in the world. Look at Kim Kardashian. She just said, I can't get away from all this. I can't stop it. Because if she stops it, her money would run out really fast. She's stuck in a loop. Maybe she loves it, maybe she doesn't. I don't know. But at the end of the day, do you love what you're doing? Is it the best thing ever? Do you wake up every day being excited about it? Is it going to be the thing that pulls you through life? Does it have purpose? These are things I want you to think about. Thank you for joining me today on this week's video. I'll see you next week.